they are greater flamingos. They have this lighter color because they live in salty marshes out in Africa. It gets really hot over there, so they have the light colors. Helps to reflect heat and keep themselves cool in that much hotter environment. But if you look closely, you can still see their darker colors located on their wings and their legs. 那 San Diego Zoo Safari Park is part of our two front doors. Our other door, the San Diego Zoo. We are both part of the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance. And when you pass by any of our two front doors or purchase anything in the park, you not only help us out with many conservation projects all over the world, but you help us provide a world where all life can thrive. And of course, conservation is big. It helps out many habitats and animals around the world. Here at the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance, we have conservation projects all over the world, focusing on 8 different hubs. However, during the tour, we'll be visiting 3 of those 8 hubs. Of course, being the savanna habitat, this is going to be the main area we're going to go out and explore. And you can start to see it over here on your left, just past the island and the water. We're also going to be passing by the African Forest Hub and the Southwest Hub, which is part of our own local habitat. Because out here, we also get to see lots of local wildlife, like the pond out here, quite famous and popular with the locals. We're passing by the bird marsh. It is a warm day today, so most of the birds are hiding behind the bushes. But you can still see a couple of them out there. Of course, the vultures are in the back. There's a bunch of local crows in there, some red-fronted geese, some pelicans all the way in the very back. And you might see some swans or crown cranes in there as well. Everybody keeping to the shade, trying to stay warm. On the left side, our first antelope herd, they kind of look like curly calves. Those are the Patterson elands. Just to give you a size of how everybody is going to be out here, those being the biggest can average between 6 to 8 feet in height. So keep in mind, a lot of the animals out here are much bigger than they seem. Out to the right side is some addax. They got pretty cool horns. They're squiggly. The addax also have a pretty cool adaptation. They can change their fur color depending on the season. Even though it's a warm day today, we are still in the winter season. And the addax have their winter coats on grayish brown color. This is going to help them to absorb heat and warm up quicker. During the summer season, when it's a little hotter out there, even than today, they are going to have a white fur, and that's going to help to reflect heat and keep them cool, kind of like the flamingos you saw. So if you come here often, keep an eye on those addax because you'll see them change their colors once we get closer to the summer. There's a few more antelopes up on the hillside, and we'll check them out a little later. But we're going to go and visit the tallest of the animals out here, and basically the tallest land animals on Earth.
Look at the baby giraffe, it's so cute.
Wow.
Oh my god, it's a
And yes, there are babies out here. These little nuggets are about 11 months old and they measure about 10 feet in height. The female is my favorite. She's right here. Her ossicones, which are the little horns on her head, her ossicones are a little crooked and very fluffy, so it looks like she's got pigtails on her head. And as you take a look at these giraffes, you might notice they're a little different. They have darker colors and their spots are much smaller and more splotchier looking. These are all Maasai giraffes. And Maasai giraffes will use this darker color to help them camouflage under trees. Of course, out in the wild, the trees will be more clumped together. And they can easily blend into the shadows of the trunks and branches, while their smaller, more splotchier spots kind of mimic the shadows that the leaves of trees will cast.
它会走哎，它活的。哎，对哦，有撞到哎。有吗？有。哦，那个 baby 的长颈鹿这样子站得挺挺的，不敢动。
Well, colors can mean many different things out here, and while the giraffes might use their colors, their dark colors, for camouflaging purposes, other animals like the Cape buffaloes use darker colors to stand out. They're not afraid of being seen. These guys are one of the toughest animals you can find out in the savanna habitat. Cape buffaloes are so tough they'll even stand up against lions. They'll form protective circles, making sure to keep their little ones extra safe inside the circle. Besides being very protective, they can be a little nosy sometimes. So if you look carefully, you'll definitely catch at least one of the capes watching as they pass by.
我也懒得动了，我要睡午觉呢。好肥呢。
So as you can see, not all of the animals are going to be very easy for me to completely stop, but I'll try my best for everybody to get a good view out here of the wildlife.
哦，这里面一只2块，哦2只。
There's a couple of the wildlife up on the hillsides or hiding over there under the trees. You might notice their big horns. We're gonna try to see if maybe we can spot them on the other side. But you can't see them from here. Let's try to see if we can spot the equines. On the right side, we've got a little habitat filled with equines. They're grayish lavender in color. They have little zebra striped stockings, and I think I just found them. They're on this side. And these little equines have one of the silliest names. They are known as the Somali wild ass. And the Somali wild ass are part of a conservation project. They are from Somalia, and sadly, there's a lot of stuff going on over there. And when us humans have issues with each other, we sadly affect our wildlife. So there is less than 200 left of these guys. And our hopes is with the conservation project, we can slowly bring up the population and one day reintroduce them back into the wild. We were pretty lucky. We had 2 babies born last year. They're right there amongst the herd. They're just now very hard to tell apart as they're the same size as the adults. Right now, it's not the complete herd. I think the rest of the herd might be up on the hillside. It is a warm day today, so a lot of the wildlife actually have their bedrooms open. So they have the option of going inside if they want to. If they don't want to go inside, they will find a nice little shady spot, like the wildebeests down below on the tree. If you're not sure what a wildebeest is, You might remember if you've seen the movie The Lion King. They were quite famous in that movie. Also, they are antelopes, even though they look like very thin buffaloes. It looks like not everybody's hanging out under the shade. We've got a few of them having lunch at the feeding troughs. Let's see, besides the wildebeest, there are a few antelopes that live out here. But as you can see, it's a really hilly habitat. So you might be able to see one or two. They're orange in color, and I saw some across the way. Those are the Ugandan cubs. All right, we've reached the highest point throughout the whole tram path. From up here, we're able to see the whole savanna habitat on our left, the surrounding San Pascual area, very pretty, green still from the rains we had a few weeks ago. And sometimes you can see the blue, but it looks like it's not up right now. Of course, water on both sides of the bridge where you'll find ducks. Because of course, wherever there is water, there's always going to be ducks. So we got a lot of local ducks around us. And on the right side, this is the forest habitat. So this is where you'll find a ton of different antelopes, from red lechways, red-fronted gazelles, and bongos. But as you can see, they're amazing hiders. So basically, when we're up here on the bridge with the forest antelopes, we're reading a Where's Waldo book or I Spy book out here, trying to find them. Oh, if you look carefully under the trees, you might spot orange antelopes. Surprisingly, you would think there would be much easier to spot being orange, but they are amazing hiders. There's a couple of red lechways over here towards the left, more side of it. Also, it looks like it might be time to trim some of the plants up here on the bridge. Alright, as we head down to check out the other side of the savanna habitat, we get the wonderful views of our local habitat. So this is the third hub of the Southwest Hub, which is home to our local habitat, the California coastal sagebrush. And you can see out here at the safari park, instead of having buildings, we've got plants, hills, and mountains. It's very pretty out here. Very different from downtown, of course. And we have 900 acres out of our 1,800 lot that was set aside. So it's a whole 900 acres that will never be developed. It's just going to stay as it is, wild. And great news for our local wildlife. We're always going to have a home. But that also means we get a lot of visitors every day. So you might have already spotted some of them. A lot of the birds that fly in, the turkey vultures that you might see in the mornings. You might find little bunnies hiding in the bushes. You might run into a roadrunner, some quails, or the California mule deer. They like to hang out in the parking lot sometimes towards the end of the day. So make sure to keep your eyes out as you might run into some of the locals. So these were the gemsbok, the antelopes I said that have really long horns that we could see across the way. Here's another view of them. They're pretty cool. They don't have the longest horns of an antelope, but their horns are 4 feet in length. And they're about the size of a small kid. Of course, you can still see the giraffes down there. You can see how they are pretending to be trees down there with their camouflaging.
Trees, huh? Oh, that's a very description.
Well, definitely we're going to see some more antelopes out here. On the right side, these have much longer horns than the gemsbok. These are scimitar horned oryx, and their horns kind of angle back, looking like scimitar swords, and their horns can get about 5 feet in length. They've got a huge herd over here on the right side, so I think we're only seeing about half of the herd right now. If you see some of them with smaller horns, those are their babies. I believe they're like 8, 9 months old. And talking about babies, we've also got babies over here on the left side. These are sables. They're kind of a dark chocolatey brown color. The male is definitely much darker than the girls, and he's got bigger horns. But when they are born orange. And this orange color helps the babies camouflage. But as they get older, they start to grow their mohawks. As you can see, these 2 little ones already have little mohawks and horns. So once they start growing their defense tools, they're going to start turning a little darker in color to match the adults.
Those are splits.
Right out here.
That would be like a $300 skeleton right there. Or more. Yes.
Alright, now to off to head over to east. We're gonna see if we can maybe spot those giraffes from earlier and some rhinos. But as we make our way over, you're gonna notice there are a lot of plants. If you haven't noticed as you walked around, there's a lot of plants here in the safari park. Makes it great on warm days. There's a lot of shade.
How do you not know it's real?
But we are more than just a zoo. We are also a botanical garden. So there's a purpose why there's a lot of plants. Being a botanical garden, we've got a whole collection of plants from all over the world. So make sure to go check them out, as well as the wildlife.
Cleaned up this sign. Clean it all up. Get the
And again, it is a warm day today, so make sure you are taking your breaks, finding a nice little shady spot if you need to take a breather. Also, if you need water, any of the restaurants, they can give you a free cup of water, or if you need to refill your water bottle, they can also refill your water bottles. We are out here in the east, and I do spot the giraffes out there. So we're gonna head over to the palm trees where we can see the giraffes. And if you are in search for more babies, this giraffe tower has even younger babies than the Maasai giraffes that we saw earlier.
Oh, those must be the different kind of giraffe.
Hopefully you found them. They're making it pretty easy to spot them. They're the only, no, I can't say they're the only ones sitting down because one of the adults are sitting down right now. But they're sitting right at the foot of the hill. So if you look closely, there's slightly size difference between the two. The oldest of the two, she was born on January 2nd, so she'll be 2 months old soon. The littler one, he was born on February 10, So he's about to turn 3 weeks old, I
3
believe.
weeks 是小只，最小只。对，三个礼拜。另外那一只2个多月。哦，
Trying to see where can I stop. Here, we'll take a pause here and then I'll move a little forward.
哦，来。
If you haven't found the rhinos, on hot days like today, they love to pretend to be rocks. So if you haven't found them, look up the hillside under the tree. They're the rocks or boulders with wiggling ears up there on the
1, 2,
hillside.
3。这一张。
There's a whole little crash of them up there.
3。
Those are southern white rhinos,
哇，
also known as chubby unicorns, tank puppies, or boulders with
那个
ears.
叫什么？犀牛。哎，那个树下面那个是不是？对，臭啊。嗯。
他们都不伤人，都不是
好庞大哦。
犀牛就大个，那坡上那是啥？
It looks like the wildlife care specialists are going to put some leaves or browse up for the giraffes up on the hillside. So I think that's where the adults are heading. You can see they're keeping an eye out of the truck over there. Giraffes, besides loving their leaves, they do love bark. And if you were curious as to why the palm trees look like this out here, that's all the giraffes. They love to peel the bark and lick the trees out here. And palm tree bark is really sweet for giraffes, so you can see they really do have a few favorites up here. The lower area of the trees, if you do see some bark missing, that's the rhinos. They also like to file their horns against
皮
things.
没有了，看到吗？
这皮都吃完了哈。
Yes，他们那么高啊，哈。
If you want to check out the rest of East Africa that we're not able to see from the tram, you can head over to Kalima Point. It's a very nice viewing area up there. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Hopefully you got some good pictures. And again, with you just entering through any of our 2 front doors, you not only helped us out with many conservation projects all over the world, they help us provide a world where all life can thrive. I always like to see if maybe we can find some lions. So we're gonna take a quick look. I haven't seen them all day. Like many of the wildlife, like I was mentioning earlier, they do have access to their bedrooms. So if they're not out there, they might be in a really nice shady area in the middle or hanging out in the cave.
Lion，我们这边有没有看到 lion？ 有没有看到？狮子。
没有，我们那个是在圈里面。